Welcome. They ain't messing with us like. Greetings from Tank. And welcome to the final stage of the Galactic Codes. We've reached the end and the beginning. Beginning and the end, once again. Indeed. So we've reached day 65, and we're on card 26, which is Galactic 13. It is also Galactic Arkana number 3, which connects with the Empress. And that connects back to Earth 13 and Lunar 13. So we've reached the completion of the DodecaHd. Galactic code sequence. Made it all the way through. Wow. Wow, what an experience. I've certainly learned a lot. So today we've returned to the source. Wow. Yep. Back to the beginning. Back to the beginning in the end. Once again. Yeah. In the ancient Mayan, yeah, it's called Hunab Ku, source. Galactic center, which is also why it was considered an important moment in our time-space continuum coordinates when Galactic Center was aligned with the winter solstice sun in 2012, which is when I completed my celestial DNA time spiral, which only up until recently I was thinking was a high-dimensional frequency, flower life, Earth, Lunar, Solar, fractal code sequence. But actually I found out recently it matches up with the ice cores from Greenland, and the 372, 391 are actually warming and cooling periods. So I think it's very important to just reflect for a second. Wow. There's definitely a lot of wows happening. Right. Today's card is this card here. This is the 13 tone frequency Maya energy with the Hunab Ku in the middle. Yeah. Card 26, Galactic 13, Hunab Ku, 13 Mayan signs. Reaching to the stars and back again, all the way to Galactic Central, called by the Maya Hunab Ku, the +1 day, one giver of movement and measure, or the organic dance and precise geometries. We reach completion in the end, that is the beginning. Go to Earth 13 and Lunar 13. This zodiac is the Mayan version with its 13 times 28 day signs. To match the skies to the sounds on the ground, each is coded to an animal archetype and recorded in their lore of the 13 moon peace movement. Yes, the movement for planetary peace. In Lakesh. Wow, and yeah, a moment of reflection. Wow, 13 moon. Wow. I learned so much from the 13 moon. system and all of the information that goes with it. Yeah, very strong basis for what I do. Particularly the numbers, I would say. I learnt primarily from the numbers, but also particular people were very key in helping me to evolve. Talking about evolution, wow, look, it's Spiral the Snake. Spiral's returned as well, indeed, because we've reached another spiral point on the 13-tone pattern as well, which is the cosmic tone. So Spiral's returned. Spiral. Thanks, Spiral. And we have completed our study of all of these different cycles, and there's so much information really to cover. I do indeed hope to compress it all down, compress it all down, compress it all down from hours and hours and hours and hours to, yeah, little bite-sized chunks. Indeed. So today's card reflects with the Earth and the lunar codes, Tree of Life and Time, and the Turtle Shell in terms of the maths. Yes, in terms of the maths, I'd like to state for record again that this Galactic Tarot sequence system works with both the 12 and the 13 base systems, the ancient ones. Yeah, it's important to note this because there's too much of this side taking going on our planet, and actually, to be perfectly honest, to understand anything in this whole Galactic Tarot sequence, you've got to honour the 12 and the 13. And you can't do it without both. And that's a fact. I think it's important to emphasise that being a fact, because I'm trying to present this information as a way as it can be understood. I've had to understand it myself to my best of my abilities. And that's why I'm doing this, is to hopefully help to bring further understanding to whoever's interested. And I've yet to make a Gregorian calendar Joker card, but I do intend to make one of those at some point, which should be an extra card in the pack. Wow. Incredible. So I was communicating with friends recently, both in person and online. I was talking about different analogies, because I like using analogies when I'm describing different views of things. And I just noticed recently that I have these two hammers that I've used for quite a number of years, and these are my two hammers. And you see this hammer and this hammer, they've got a different design. And this one I actually repaired with wire so the top wouldn't fall off. And this one, well, it's just made to last better. It's evolved. You know, this is like evolutionary hammer goings on, right? But this one still works. Yeah, in many instances this one works, but eventually after a certain number of bangs it has to be, you know, reinforced again, then tightened. Whereas this one just works. Right. Well, these analogies work very well in relation to trying to weigh up the pros and cons of keeping the global Gregorian calendar system or shifting to a more expansive view of the universe we live in. Now, like I said, this hammer still works. I'm not saying it doesn't work, but after a certain period of time it needs to be fixed. And that's time take to fix it. Now, this hammer has been built to last. There's a complete difference. And this whole thing of, making things built to last is also seems to be a byproduct of living under the regime that we live under. Whether we gave our consent to that or not, I don't think we have, but that's the goings on our planet. The global system has a certain way of functioning, and if things break, then people have to buy new ones, which means there's more sales. So if that's the way the system works, then it makes sense to actually build things that don't last very long, in some instances. I'm not saying that happens everywhere, but it certainly happens far too much, and in certain areas where it's really important, it doesn't happen at all, really, which is just ridiculous in our modern age. But these are the sorts of things that are brought up discussing pros and cons. Because this hammer is like the Gregorian calendar. It started off as the Roman calendar had 10 months. Then eventually they increased it to 12 months. Then they changed the beginning of the year. They tried leap days every 3 years, 4 years. All kinds of higgledy-pigglediness. Then eventually they settled on one every 4 years. And that lasted for quite a while, actually. And that is really the Roman calendar. But then in 1582, they removed 10 days, they changed the start date again, and, different months probably added an extra day. There was the Caesars, they added a day too. So it's had all these fixes to it. It's a hammer, it works, but it's still not very accurate, and it still needs to be updated. Okay? It's still a hammer though, it still works. I'm not saying that you shouldn't use it. I'm not trying to convert you, because I'm not of that consciousness. You have to have a particular kind of consciousness to want to force something on someone else. And I'm not. I'm interested about discussing things, sharing information, and then everybody can make up their own mind. Is what I prefer. So this is a hammer that needs constant fixing. This hammer doesn't. And in the same way, these ancient codes from across our planet, which took thousands of years of records to actually come up with these numbers that seem to be in everything, or variations of, or ratios of, connecting to cycles and architecture, the whole thing, across the planet. Because the natural principles, they're like this hammer that work every time. But it's not a science that's shared with the whole planet. No, because time is seen as something else, and time is considered in a different way under a certain regime. So these two hammers, this is what came up in discussion naturally recently, and it made sense to share this, because again, if you want to use this hammer, that's your choice, and it still works, obviously, because people learn how to use the tools they're given, and they can make fixes themselves to their own hammer, and it still works. I'm not saying it doesn't work, but for the planet, of billions of people, it may have been okay, thousands of years ago with smaller populations, but now it really makes sense that as a planet we actually evolve and make use of the technologies that we've actually learned to make everybody's lives more expansive and complete on their own path of learning about the universe and sharing information so everybody can make up their own minds. So that's my little rant about hammers. I mentioned tools at the beginning of this series. There is also the point that this is a tool and it can be used in different ways. You can't blame that on the tool. Again, it's whoever's following the orders and making decisions who decides how the hammer's used. But ultimately, this is a tool. So blaming the tool, no, it's about the consciousness that's using the tool and how that tool affects decision-making processes for the whole planet. Okay. Hammers. Traditional hammer and, yeah, galactic hammer. Just a name, really, isn't it? Right. Okay. So here we are, completing the gnosis process, the path of gnosis. To the fluffy animals, any last things you'd like to share? Oh, look, it's the dolphin phone. Hello? Okay. Thank you very, very much. This is Zenith, dolphin. What would you like to share, Zenith? Please remember the love. Please take care of each other. Look at this world. There's so much to learn on this planet. Can you see what I see? My name's Zenith. Zenith reflects the midpoint of the sky at all times. Seeing things from, the point above everything, taking a step back. Seeing the holistic view. Wow. Is there anything else you'd like to share, Zenith? I am from the star people. I feel the star people's presence. Yes, beyond even this galaxy. So the star people are with us as well. Wow. Did the star people say anything or bring any messages from... Yes? Huh? Yeah, they love us. Wow. They love us, even through all the historical nonsense. Yeah, they still love us. Wow. Wow. Does that mean that the highest energy in the universe is love? Wow. Wow. The heart of creation, which is in everything. Wow. Thank you, Zenith. Wow. Zenith. Wow. So the universe loves us. Wow. There we go, everyone. Well, we've been through all of these cards. All these different cards here. these different sections, codes. Yep. And now, finally, I would like to share with you the Arcturian shield, which encapsulates all the different levels and geometries that we've been exploring in a painting. So I'm just going to change the lighting settings, and I'll be back in a sec. Welcome back. In front of you is the Arcturian shield. This full geometric pattern here. Yep. This is the Arcturian shield. And we've been exploring the different layers and levels of this multidimensional object throughout the Galactic Tarot sequence. We started off with the Earth codes. That's this outer edge, which is the cube level. And there are 52 cubes going around here. And that represents the 52 weeks in the year. So that is how energetically, through resonance, we connect with this ring. And when I say ring, obviously we're looking at a two-dimensional painting, but you could kind of conceive of it like an orange or a piece of fruit. And this is like a cross section. Yeah. The next layer in is the lunar codes. And that is coded to the 20-day cycle of the Zolkin. And there's 20 Zolkins on that ring. Yeah. So that's connected in with the 20-day count, which there are many, and our 20 fingers and toes, the fact that we're born from a womb, which is the 260, made up of 13 times 20. So the lunar codes connect with the second ring. Now I'm just going to get my UV torch to increase the visual ability of the painting. So here's a bit more UV torch. As you can see, it lights up the center a bit more. So on the outside we've got the Earth and the Lunar, 52 weeks and a 20-day count. Next is the solar codes. And there's 24 stars, which connects with the 24 hours. Yep. 24 hours, the 24 sides of the Merkaba geometry. The lunar codes is the icosahedron, which has 20 sides, just like the 20 count. The solar codes has 24 for the 24 runes, which connects with the day, the hours of the day. It's like a sundial. This is like a lunar dial and an earth dial. So they all dial in different levels of reality. The next one in from the solar codes is the alchemy codes. And the alchemy codes, here we have 16 times 4. And the 16 times 4 is 64. Which is all the codes connected with the 64. The I Ching, Liberation of the Infinity Codes, 888, which had already been established through the Earth, Lunar and Solar codes. And now was liberated in the alchemy codes. 888, the fourth 8, yeah, 8 times 8, 64, that's the I Ching, it's the DNA, DNA. The next level in, that's where we are now. This is the galactic ring here. She's got 12 pentagons. Yeah. But it has a center as well of the 12, which is the 13. So again, the system is 12 and 13, and it can't work without both. The 12 represents the dodecahedron geometry, but all these geometries have a center. They all share a common center, which is the 13, which is actually the next level, which is the zodiac codes, which there is 13. The 12th sign can be seen as a double sign, and in the galactic zodiac, I start to count from Sagittarius, because that's where the galactic center is, which also happens to make the ending with Scorpio and Ophiuchus being the 12th and 13th signs. So that is what is revealed through honouring both the 12 and the 13, is then this center, okay? The center here is the fruit of life. Yeah. And sometimes this geometry is connected with what's called Metatron's cube, but here we're working with the Arcturian energy, which is about arcs. Yeah? Arcs. Yeah, precision. Angles of precision of a multi-dimensional object. So these are the 6 layers from the outside in. The Earth, the lunar, and the solar, which is to say, there has to be a planet. Generally speaking, life, yeah, we need a moon to keep the oceans ebbing and flowing. We have to have a sun, yeah, at a particular point in its life. We have to be at a particular distance from the sun in relation to the planet and the oceans and the atmosphere, in order to have an atmosphere, which is the alchemy level, for life, yeah, for life to evolve in a galaxy. Yeah, for life to evolve in a galaxy, which is what we live in, is a galaxy. And at the heart of it, yeah, is the realm of pure archetype, which is the love, really, in its many forms. Has many faces. There's 13 spheres in the middle here, symbolizing the 13 signs of the zodiac, which are essentially different faces. They have different archetypal energies which connect with the numbers. I personally connected with the Egyptian energy in that system, but the Mayan fits it too. Yeah, they have their version. All the different ancient peoples had different views of reality because they all lived in different places on this planet that we live on. And the environmental conditions, yeah, whether they're northern or southern, whether they live in the equator or the tropics, you know, whether they're ocean people or mountain people, all these sorts of things, yeah, this is where our stories come from. But this is the math, yeah, which is the codes underneath, yeah, and the maths connects across the planet. All these different rings connect with different ancient peoples, different systems of thought, different awareness, yeah, different facets of this holistic system, which there are many. There's 52 here, 20 here, 24, 64, 12, and 13. This is a multi-dimensional system. And this is the Arcturian shield, which brings it all together as a single piece of art. Yeah, it could reflect so many different things. It itself is like an evolution from matter on the outside edge, the most furthest away point from the center of the galaxy, and then further refinement to the center. Yeah, or return to the source, only to then, incarnate and return to the source, and incarnate and return to the source, and incarnate and return to the source, which is what this is on a higher dimensional level, as an art, as a piece of art, is what it represents. Yeah, these dimensions that we don't even have equipment to measure. Yeah. Well, I don't know if anybody's invented a solar scope before, but I also considered this a solar scope, as it's specific to everybody, according to their own resonance of what they connect with. Again, this system is something which comes alive through interacting with it. Yeah. I'm learning from it as I'm painting it. It's been through many stages already. By no means is it finished, but it does indeed reflect these different systems of thought, and it connects with these 6 stages of the Galactic Tarot sequence. And we've been through Earth, Lunar, Solar, Alchemy, and Galactic to reach this point now, which is the point where we return to the source. So we have literally returned to the source in a full system, a holistic system that connects with multiple traditions across the planet, in a gnosis where the wisdom of one people is connected with the wisdom of another people's, to bring an alchemy through the process and to see what's happened in history to our wisdom traditions, and help us hopefully to see more clearly, and also to encapsulate the whole system as a single piece of art, and also just to appreciate it for a piece of art, which is what I'm going to do now. So, there we go. And I would just like to thank everyone who's made it all the way through this Galactic Tarot sequence. And wow. The purpose of this work is peace. Because peace means culture, as in no more death and destruction. No, not unnatural death and destruction. Everything in nature is dies and is reborn. You can see that through our seasons. This is how our species is still here. After so much historical cycles, we're still here. Because humans too die and reborn. Peace would free up a lot of resources too. Because, we use quite a lot of energy to be at war. And peace also means that people can live free from prejudice and various other systems of dysfunction that we've never actually given our consent to anyway, which is pretty much the basis of law, is consent. So, peace is also awareness, being given all the information so that we can make intelligent choices. For the peace to last, there has to be an intelligent choice with all the information present, so people know what they're consenting to. Indeed. That's what this work is all dedicated to, is peace. Peace for our planet through planetary awareness of all the ancient wisdom that goes back thousands and thousands and thousands of years. Blessings, everyone. Thank you for being on this journey with me. If you'd like to get in touch, if you have any questions, please get in touch. We will be going through the Galactic Tarot sequence zodiac level next, but that is like an extra level. That's like the fruit at the center. In terms of the Galactic Tarot sequence, we've reached the source. Indeed. May galactic peace be with you. And galactic love too. Take care, everyone.